Alrighty, squad. It is Thursday, July 28th at 1:20 p.m. We're down here at the Arundel County Police Department, Southern District in Edgewater, Maryland, to have a sit-down with Detective BACCHUS about the assault that occurred outside of the detention center on Jennifer Road a few days ago. Now, I'm sure once we actually go to get into the actual conversation, we'll probably go back in one of these rooms, and I most likely will not be able to record back there. But I just wanted to have documentation that I came out here and met with the lady. How you doing, sir? I'm here to meet with Detective BACCHUS. So yeah, I just wanted the documentation that I came out here and met with her.
You're Detective BACCHUS?
Yes, sir.
Remember me, Terry?
Oh, man. Tell me up, buddy. How you been, brother? I didn't recognize you, man. You got the beard and stuff now?
It's all great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. All right, let me go get it.
You didn't have much facial hair back then, though, did you?
No, we weren't allowed to have it back then.
I didn't think so. Man, that's cool, though. I always wondered whatever happened to you, man. I haven't seen you out in any of my doings or anything. But
I got 2 more years.
My man. Well,
I'm done. Let me go get it for you, all right?
Appreciate you, brother. That's awesome. He was actually the school resource officer when I went to Broadneck, man. He is a good dude. I know a lot of folks that went to Broadneck will say things about Officer Koch, but I think he was a great dude. I just went and gave that man a hug. We did have a bad run-in one time where my behavior got the best of me, and I dumped a peach tea all over the front of the corridor of the school. So I had a half-gallon Wawa peach tea for lunch. The teacher tried to confiscate it and I wouldn't give it to her. She sent me to the office and they tried to do the same. I argued that, other kids bring in sodas for lunch all the time. What's the difference between this? They said it needs to be a clear liquid in a clear bottle. I don't understand what the difference was between me having this and a kid having a Coca-Cola for lunch, but yeah, it was unopened. I wasn't drinking it, nothing of the sort. So they said you can give it to us or be suspended. I chose to keep the peach tea and take the suspension. As I was walking out, I thought to myself, if you guys wanted this peach tea so bad that you're going to hinder my education, then I might as well give it to you and give you a reason to suspend me. So I opened it up and dumped it all over the front corridor of the school and walked out. As I was leaving, this officer actually arrested me in the side parking lot, took me to the Eastern District Station, and booked me. Now, no charges were ultimately filed from this. Nothing came of it, and I just did my suspension and went back to school. But, yeah, you know how big of a principles person I am, so it was just kind of one of those things where, why would you want my peach tea if other kids can have these type of drinks, or other kids can bring these in for lunch? Why am I any different? They just wanted to pick on me. But, there was nothing wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He's always been cool. He was always a nice guy, man. He's good people. I always wonder what happened to Mr. Koch. That's awesome, dude. I'm so happy that just happened. Yes. I know a lot of y'all are going to make fun of me because I do like law enforcement officers, that I don't just sit here and assume all of them are bad, and you guys get mad at me that I point out that some of them are good, and I know you're going to get mad that I gave him a hug, but dude, he's cool peoples. He's a good dude. Behind that badge and that uniform, he's a good human being. And I respect that. Even with the badge and the uniform on, he's a good human being. I just meant, even outside of that, behind that. He's a human, and he's a good dude, so he deserves to be treated as such.
She's on the phone once she's done out. She's coming out.
I got you. Were you there my freshman year? You weren't there, 06, 07. I don't think...
I was there until you graduated.
That's what I thought, so I was sitting here going back.
06 was my first year.
Okay.
06, 07 was my first school year. I left the end of 13.
Okay. That's cool. So you stayed a couple years after.
Yeah.
So I think you were there. Oh, no, you wouldn't have been there when my brother was there. His crazy ass.
I only remember you, and you used to hang around. Where is a tattoo artist now? All right.
Oh, look, there's the old one. Yep. That is the old one. That's pretty cool. Yes, ma'am. So, I figured they're probably not allowed to take the camera back there behind the door. I figured. I did my whole thing and let them know, hey, I'm probably gonna not be able to keep it on back there and stuff like that. So we're gonna turn this off. I'll talk to y'all when I get back out. Alrighty, what's up, squad? What's up, squad? It is July 28th, like 2:30 p.m. I just left the Anne Arundel County Police Department Southern District down there in Edgewater after having the interview with the detective about the whole assault situation that went on out there at the jail yesterday. Apparently they tried to tell me not to file charges. I don't remember them ever saying don't file charges. I remember that specifically being what was the reason for me wanting the information. I thought that was the whole point of me going out there yesterday, was to file the charges. So not sure what that was about, but anyway, yeah, had that interview. Now I'm over here to file a complaint on the officers that came out to the maintenance yard last week and kicked me off the property, or acted like dickheads. They acted like booty heads out there last week. Who's Kelly? Who Kelly? Which one of y'all's Kelly? Who's Kelly? Who's Kelly? Yeah. Happy birthday, Kelly. Oh, she's not even sitting there, is she? Happy birthday, Kelly. I seen the sign. I wanted to. You ever seen the video where the guy goes back to the restaurant and he's like, who made this burger? And they're all like so scared. He's like, oh, this is a good fucking burger. Yep. Hey, I just wanted to come and speak with someone from Internal Affairs. I wanted to file a complaint on an officer I had an interaction with in the field last week.
Okay, let me call someone.
Gotcha. Thank you, thank you. Cool, cool. Let's find out what date it was. It is Miss Kelly's birthday today, and she just turned 21 years old. Thank you. How old is Miss Kelly? 21? How old is Miss Kelly today? 21? Tell her I'll buy her a drink at Libations. What's going on, brother?
Yes, sir.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good. How's it going, man?
I know you, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up? Zaleski.
Yeah, you got it.
My man, what's up, brother? What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man?
You sent me an email like 2.5 months ago saying that I would get that decision in like 2 weeks. I had an incident out on the field over there at the maintenance yard on Tuesday the 19th.
Okay.
That I wanted to file a complaint on. I didn't know if there was like a, I know you guys have a form for like excessive force and stuff like that, but for things like this, there was no excessive force. It was just like a basic like rights violation and things.
All right. So
Oh, it should be a car accident. Hold on, maybe I've given
So
you the
there's-
wrong number.
several different ways we can do this.
Okay.
So on our website, we just started July 1st. It's a public portal.
Okay.
So you can go on the police department website,
Uh-huh.
put all your information in there.
Okay.
What it'll do, it'll generate a tracking number for you.
Okay.
And it's like 20 characters long.
Yeah.
That way you can monitor the entire
Apologize.
process. Or I can take your information, I can put it in the public portal.
I got you.
You know, just if you do it, it skips that step
Skips
of
that
me
step,
putting
yeah.
it in.
I got
But,
you.
If you have the officer's information, you can list all that in there,
Okay.
and then throughout the case, it
Yeah.
will give you updates. If you put a cell phone in, an email address, it'll give you updates
Keep it all in
into of the whole process.
Okay. I guess the only thing I would need is Sergeant Smith's badge number is the only thing I don't have, I believe. I think I have his name. I don't believe I had his badge number. I might have had his badge number. I think that was the only thing I didn't have.
We'll
Oh,
say
my
it's,
apologies.
well, you know what? If you put in there, I think it's 1618.
5322.
Okay.
But if you put it in
I
there,
might have had that then. That does sound
All right.
familiar.
if you put it in there, what's going to happen? Either way, when you send it to us,
Yeah.
when we bring it into our system, our case management system,
Uh-huh.
it's not going to automatically transfer his name in there. I have to go in and manually enter
Do
him
it.
in there.
Got
So,
you. Okay.
But, or I can take it here and
No,
enter
you're
it
good.
in.
I can go home and do it. That way I make sure I got the right number and stuff
Gotcha.
like that. Awesome.
Yeah, I think
awesome.
it's 1618.
Okay. Yeah, he was the only one I didn't ask when I first made contact. I asked later in the thing, and I don't remember if I got that or not. I was like on the way out, leaving as it happened. But yeah, alrighty, cool. Well, I will go home and enter that in. And boom.
Sergeant.
I guess, do you know if there was like an informational report
Michael
generated
Smith.
for that incident at all?
Don't know if there was or was not.
Okay.
It's the one right down the street, right?
Yep, yes sir. Yes sir. It's like right behind like the water treatment
You got it.
thingy, yeah.
And you got the other officer's name that's
Yes,
out there, right?
Yep, yeah,
Both
Fenner-
there's two other officers.
FENNERLY or FENNERLY?
Yep.
And then BACCHUS.
Yes.
BACCHUS, yep.
I can't really, Esplanade?
All right, yeah, I think it's
Awesome.
1618.
Okay.
But,
Thank you, sir.
here, let me put my phone number down there. If you don't have it, give me a call and I'll give it to you.
Appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
You got that? It's
Awesome.
0316.
Yep. Thank
I
you, sir.
scribbled it.
No, you're good. I appreciate
All
you.
right.
Have a
Take
good
care.
one.
See
Thank
ya.
you. You too. Have a good one.
You too.
Happy birthday, Kelly. See ya. Said, have a good one, Mr. Cena. That's so funny. I'm geeking right now. Y'all have no idea how funny that just was to me. That guy was in one of the very first videos I ever posted on YouTube where like he was yelling at me and I was like, why are you yelling at me? Then I asked him if he was under the influence of any drugs or alcohol or narcotics and he got all mad and stormed away and I called him out for it. It was just a whole thing, but that's funny. At least he was cool. He was fine. He was helpful. He was willing to take the information down. I don't think he wanted to, but he was willing to take it down and enter it all for me. But I'll go home and enter it all myself onto this nice little portal. Yeah, see, so a lot of stuff here in the state of Maryland changed on July 1st, 2022. A lot of like laws went into effect, processes changed, just, you know, all the new stuff went into effect. So there's been some procedural changes. Some places have added things, some have taken it away. But yeah, we'll go home and check that new portal out, enter that information, and start the process of filing that complaint as well. Until next time, squad, be safe out there. Take it easy, and peace out.
I'm going to read a script, on for the record, and just so you know, I'm going to tell you again for the record, but I'm also telling you now that this is being recorded, just so you know.
Okay.
When I read my script, I will ask you that if you know that, and that it's with your consent, just so you know. That'll be one of the questions that I ask you, okay?
Gotcha.
All right, we're going to go on the record right now. All right, here we go. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, the date is Tuesday. The day is July 26, 2022. The time is 11 o'clock a.m. The following interview is in connection with the internal affairs case IA 2022-016. Is being conducted by Sergeant Byrd, ID 2403. It is being done over the phone from the Internal Affairs Division at 8801 Police Plaza, Upper Marlboro, Maryland 20772. For the record, would you state your name, address, telephone number, please?
And my phone number is 410-555-5555.
All right, sir. This interview is being recorded with your knowledge and consent. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. All right, sir. I'd like to bring your attention back to May 4th, 2022 at approximately 14:30 hours when you were at the Wayne K. Curry Building on the 4th floor of the Office of Law located at 1301 McCormick Drive, Largo, Maryland. While you were there, you were attempting to get more information in reference to a Public Information Act request you submitted. Is that correct?
I was trying to get to the bottom of some things. They said that they didn't have certain of information available for me, so I was there to get more information on the one that I had turned in, and if what I had turned in wasn't sufficient for the information that I was seeking, then I was going to turn in a new MPIA request, with the proper lingo, proper terminology. That way I could receive the proper information.
Okay, and what else can you tell me about while you were there trying to obtain that information? What can you tell me more about that entire situation while you were there?
I was greeted at the front door by Officer ASKEW and whatever gentleman was down there. I believe it's First Sergeant Iani. And just kind of the same thing. I had been there once before dealing with the same incident. I had come in there to fill out an MPIA request. I was also trying to check out the public areas of the public building. I myself am an independent journalist who gathers content for certain and different stories that he posts. So I like to check out public areas of publicly accessible buildings. I explained that to them. I explained to them what I was doing. I went through the security checkpoint. It wasn't like I tried to just run into the building or sneak into the building. I empty my pockets. I go through like everybody else. So when I get there this time, it's kind of the same thing. I met with the same kind of attitude as I was the first time. At this point, they don't necessarily like try to physically hinder me at the beginning. They just tell me, oh, we're gonna call someone to help you. We're gonna call and see if someone's up there. We're gonna this or whatever. And there's a security guard sitting up there on the 4th floor outside of the executive county executive's office, like right there in the lobby. So there's someone upstairs to call if I need them to call somebody, but I didn't need that either way. When I got up to the 4th floor, I spoke to the security guard. He was cool. I'd spoke to him before. There was no issue with him at all. That's what kind of led me to believe, like, I didn't really understand what was going on, because when the officers eventually did come up there and make contact with me, they acted as if I was being such a nuisance, or I had caused such a disturbance or a problem, or I was, like, intimidating or scaring people, and I just felt like if I had done those things, the security guard sitting 5 feet from me would have at least done something other than have a nice conversation with me the whole time. So I speak to a young gentleman named Matthew outside of the Office of Law door. I explained to him what it is I'm there to do. Hey, this is what I submitted. This is the type of information I'm looking for. This is the type of answer I got. What is it that I do next in this step? Should I submit another one with different lingo? Should I this? At which time he is informing me to contact the Maryland Ombudsman. This is the first time I hear of this type of service, or this person, or this branch of government known as the Ombudsmans. So it was very nice to have him give me that information. Unfortunately, right when he was doing that, the lady Rhonda, I don't remember her last name, but her name is Rhonda, who worked for the Office of Law, came out of the door, and I just instantly met with bad energy. I'm a big reciprocator of energy. I know it a lot of times you guys will try to say he's a smart ass or he's this or that, but I'm just a reciprocator of energy, you know what I mean? And I give people what they give to me. So when she came out with just a nasty attitude, I kind of, gave her a little smart attitude back. Well, yeah, I have a camera, Miss Rhonda. That's what's in my hand. We're in public, we're in the public. Is there something wrong with having a camera? There's multiple cameras here in this building, At which time I tried to explain to her what it is I'm doing, as I just explained to Mr. Matthew. She, instantly catches an attitude and is like, we answered your response, we gave you your answer, that's what it is. Now, granted, in between that, there was a lady that had asked me if I needed help, came out and asked if I needed help, and I said, yeah, I needed help now. So she was supposed to be going to get me somebody. So after I speak to Miss Rhonda, and she's kind of rude or whatever, and she's like, I'm not dealing with this, she walks back behind the door and kind of refuses to answer any more questions, or refuses to engage with me anymore and kind of help me out. I guess they assumed that I was just going to leave, but like I just said, I was waiting for this other lady to come back. I had spoken to someone who said, yeah, I'm going to go get you XYZ. I don't know if it was a person or if it was a piece of information. I have the video footage so I can go back and see. But regardless, I was waiting for her to come back with said information. So again, I just sat out there in the lobby. It wasn't like I, tried to nefariously get into offices or go into any doors or anything. I just simply sat there in the public areas of the public lobby and tried to acquire public information while waiting for public servants to come back and do the job that they had already informed me that they were doing.
Okay. And while you were there, did you ever speak to a Mr. Ruddy?
I don't know who a Mr. Ruddy is.
Okay. And
does he have a first name?
I believe his first name is Joe.
Not that I know of.
Okay. At one point, because I reviewed the video as well, at one point, Miss Weaver Miss Rhonda Weaver, she came out there with another gentleman. Do you recall that?
Yeah. She did have another gentleman standing back behind her. He stood, I think, a little closer towards the door. I never, like, personally engaged in conversation with him, but yes, she did have another gentleman with her. So at that point, it was me, Miss Weaver, Mr. Matthew was the gentleman that I was speaking to before Miss Weaver came out there, and then, yes, that third gentleman as well would have been standing there.
Okay, that was Mr. Ruddy, but you had no conversation.
I don't believe I ever had any conversation with him. At least not anything meaningful that I like remembered.
Okay. When you were speaking to Miss Weaver, who was with the other gentleman there, you kind of already went over what that conversation was about. I guess that she had said she didn't really have any more information for you at that time, and they provided all the information that they had to you. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was something under the gist of that. I believe she said that she had provided everything that she was able to, or that she knew how to, so that's why I was trying to ask, okay, well, what are the next steps in this process? If I don't agree with your guys' decision, what am I supposed to do? If you read the Maryland MPIA request, it says that before you ever contact any ombudsman, so even if I had known about the ombudsman, it says that I should try to contact the custodian of records for the agency and the requester should work together to fulfill the request. So that's what I was trying to do. I was just trying to file the MPIA request and properly work with the agency to you know what I mean, get the request filed properly so I could get the information I was looking for.
Okay. While you were speaking with Miss Weaver, I guess towards the end of the conversation, were you ever told by Miss Weaver or anybody else there that you really had no more business at that time in that office to be done that day?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Were you ever asked to leave the buildings that you, according to Ms. Weaver, had no more business to be done or conducted that day? Do you recall being asked to leave?
No, sir. I don't remember anybody ever asking me to stop my legal business and to leave the property.
All right. And do you recall being escorted out of the building by Corporal Carthorne and Corporal Phillips?
Yes, I do remember being physically escorted out by Officer Askew and Officer Phillips.
Okay.
I don't want to not include that Officer Askew was the main perpetrator in that scenario. I don't want to disclude her from that.
No, I'm aware that she's has some involvement in this. However, she wasn't either officer that escorted you out of there. Just so you're clear.
I got you. No, but it was her directive that led them to take me out of there. She was the one that said, "Okay, take him out of here." Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. But just so you're clear, he didn't physically touch you at all in any of this situation. Gotcha. No, you're good. I understand.
While you were being escorted out of the building by the officers, did you resist them in any way?
No, we walked out of the building.
Okay. Did you speak to a police supervisor that day?
Yes, sir. I requested one to come out there and speak to me.
Okay, and that was Sergeant Lancaster that came out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did he fulfill any questions? Did he answer all your questions that day?
No, sir. None of my questions were properly or adequately answered. He gave me the answers that they wanted to give me, and he gave me the answers that allowed his officers to commit the crimes and to continue doing what they were doing and to violate the federal statutes that they were. But they were not the answers that should have been given to a private citizen that had just been harassed and physically battered by public servants, and they were not the answers that public servants should be giving to members of the public at all.
All right. Did you ever file a formal complaint in reference to what happened that day?
Yes, sir. I actually tried to do that. I came down there to Police Plaza, and I wasn't even allowed into the building to get the complaint forms. I had to sit outside and wait for them. I was eventually brought them back. I went over next door to the CID building to try to get the police report from this day. The people over at the CID building pretended they had never heard of a Public Information Act request. Just a whole lot of yada. They sent me to an address out in Hyattsville to get the information. I sent an email since that was such a big, long hike out there, and nobody ever responded to my email for the police report or the requesting of the police report. So, at this point, no, I have not physically gone out to Hyattsville, only because I had spoken to you probably about a month ago.
It's been a little less than a month ago that I spoke to you, but yes, unfortunately, that is where our all of our records are kept, and that is where you have to physically go to request a copy of the report. So that is our policy in reference to that. And the date that you said you came here to actually get complaint forms, did you ever make contact with anyone? And did they? And I believe there was some video of this that they actually handed you complaint forms. Do you recall that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. After I sat there and continued to knock on the door and persistently, what's the word I'm saying? Persistently demand them, almost, is what I had to do. I had to explain to your officers that I have a First Amendment right to redress my government for grievances, and that by denying me to do so would be a violation of 18 U.S. Code 242. That they were already in violation of that over there at the Wayne K. Curry building. That by denying me the right to do this also becomes a violation of 18 U.S. Code 241 of conspiring to suppress the rights. So they were then in violation of 2 federal statutes, at which point in time the lieutenant went upstairs and got me 10 of the complaint forms. So thank him very much. But yeah, I had to stand outside and wait for that, and I had to scream through a glass window because nobody could come actually open the door and speak to me. And then when I tried to ask questions about there being a lieutenant on site or someone I could speak to there at the building, since it was, police headquarters, and I wanted to redress my grievance verbally, they just walked away from me and shut the door in my face.
Okay. But so you were given the complaint forms, you just never followed up with them and to submit them to us?
I haven't been given the proper information, sir. Remember where I said that I sent that email out there to the Hyattsville office and no one ever emailed me back?
Yes, I do recall you saying that. But my point in asking that question about the complaint forms is you were given them, correct?
Yes, sir. I was eventually handed them, yes.
Okay. All right, sir. Are there any additions or corrections to this interview you'd like to make?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. It sounds like you kind of conducted this interview because you were looking to have me, like, maybe incriminate myself, or you were looking to ask questions of me. You didn't really ask me, like, anything as far as you know what I mean? Where was your concern for what your officers did, or where is your concern for how I feel about this, or maybe where I want this to go, or maybe how you could rectify this for me as the private citizen who was harassed by your officers? I mean, you're saying you're doing an internal affairs investigation, but your investigation was only really to kind of cover your officers and the people of law's ass, and to try to see if I violated any rights or statutes or any things that you could self-incriminate me on. That's why you kept trying to ask if anyone had ever asked me to leave the building. Sir, you need to understand that in order to ask me to leave the building, I would have had to be in violation of 4-609, the Maryland Trespass Statute. I have a right to be on private public property during public business hours on a business day, as long as I'm engaged in legal and lawful activity. As an owner of a business here in the state of Maryland, a media production business, not even that I should have to do that, but the fact that I do that gives me a little bit more than just the private citizen who has the rights to gain to gather content, and the right to freedom of press, and to post matters of public interest on whatever form they want. But my point is you kind of just sat here and try to, like, get me to make your job a little easier, and I don't understand why you would do that, sir. Not once have you established that what I was doing was right. The fact that I was on public property during business hours on a business day, that I had given permission by Dane and Ashton to already be there once before, and to gather content in the publicly accessible areas of this public building. You failed to mention that Rhonda Weaver, as an agent of the state, doesn't get to decide when someone's legal and lawful business is done. The Supreme Courts have already ruled upon that. So now I'm just concerned, Sergeant Byrd, because a lot of people told me you were going to do this, and I really kind of gave you the benefit of a doubt that maybe he was going to do his job, or maybe he was really looking into this. And it just seems like your questions were only really based around, okay, well, was his behavior unjustifiable, or can we catch him slipping up doing this? Well, did we ask him to leave? Well, did he do this? Well, did he do that? Well, you know what I mean? Where's your questions about their conduct? Where's your questions about my feelings about their conduct, or what I think about their conduct? You know what I mean? If you're doing an investigation, wouldn't you get aside from the harassed party? Especially if I haven't turned in that complaint form yet. Shouldn't you want to take that from me?
I guess so. That's why I asked if you had it and if you submitted it.
Yeah, I know. And I said no. I hadn't had a chance to get out there yet because I didn't have that information. So then you were just looking to end the interview. You weren't really looking to possibly give me any outlets to get that information. You weren't really looking to give me any outlets to maybe file that complaint now over the phone, since I wasn't able to get that information. Like I said, I spoke to you about a month ago and we set up this interview, so that's an entire month's worth of time that I didn't take to go file the complaint just because I knew we were having this interview.
Right, I understand.
That's all.
I understand. And then once we go off the record, I will provide you with the information to our records section. Like I said, their phone number and their address, and then you can make contact with them so they can advise you of the appropriate way to get the information you're looking for.
I got you.
Right.
I got you. I just really don't feel like you're doing an investigation on the incident that happened with your officers. I feel like you're trying to do an investigation on me because now you're mad that I called the FBI and reported you guys for not wanting to do your job in the first place. It's just funny that when I tried to file the complaint and get the information, no one said anything to me. And then like 2 weeks after I called the FBI, I get this ominous call from you on my personal cell phone number, which I never gave you. So it's all been a very weird scenario, Sergeant Byrd, but I was just hoping maybe you were going to do the right thing.
All right, sir. I am. That's why I conducted this investigation in reference to our officers' conduct. And that's why I reached out to you to get your position on it. And that's why my questions were set up the way they were. It's based on my officers' actions, and their conduct with you. So that's why, the conversation went the way that it went.
I got you.
Right.
Well, yeah, I guess I would just like to add that I have a First Amendment right to the freedom of press, and I can gather content in public and publicly accessible areas during business days, and I'd already given permission by Dana Nash and a member of that building to do so.
All right, sir. Is this statement true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Absolutely.
All right. This concludes the interview. Thank you for your cooperation. The time is 11:20. All right, sir. We're off the record. We're not recording anymore, okay?
Cool.